Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you a brand new episode. Part 23 of What If Naruto was sent to the Marvel world. Remember to get this one to 200 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also, go ahead and check out the brand new series What If Naruto was banished and got a supernatural ability, and enjoy that guys. And I also posted a new episode of What If Naruto was from the two greatest clans on this channel, so go ahead and check out that and enjoy. And I also posted a new episode of What If Naruto was a smart prodigy, so go ahead and enjoy it as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. Girls with their
So the last time we left off, Death told Naruto that she knew what his plan was. But Naruto said that he didn't have a plan, but she told him that he can keep on playing coy. But she know, even if Kurama doesn't know, she know what his plan is. As Naruto left, as Naruto woke up in Wakanda, as a man was there to greet him, as a man brought him out and told him that he needed something to eat. But Naruto only sent a shadow clone. As Naruto went to the meeting room where the king was and the prince, as Naruto entered and told him that he can get the princess back here. As T'Challa decided to tag along with Naruto, Naruto didn't have a talk with the king, as he hated the fact that the king kept the technology and all the resources away from mankind. But he could understand why though, because if you give mankind something they cannot handle, they would just use it and use it for war and fight over it. As him and the king became friends, even laughing coming around the corner. As Naruto saw Ileana, she was shaking, as Kurama told him that when he got knocked out, she had to kill the man. As Naruto said that it was her first, she said no, but Naruto saw the look on her face, as he decided to send her home. As she protested, but he said to go home, as he asked if she wanted a clone to keep her company, but she said no, as she left. As Naruto then arrived at the place with T'Challa, as the both of them assaulted the place, well mostly Naruto, as he created Biju bomb and exploded the place, wiping out the entire camp. As the man, as Shuri could not believe that a literal puppet the man was using, saying the name puppet was Dobby, as the puppet was the boss of it all, as the man was literally crazy. As T'Challa captured the man before they could run away with Shuri, as Naruto destroyed the plane. As T'Challa was about to kill the man when Naruto held on to him and told him no, because the man was crying over the puppet, as Naruto told him that he was insane. But the man quickly pulled a gun from behind him. Instead of pointing at them though, he put it at his head, and bang! He blew his own brain out. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So, what do you say we get straight into this new episode? We begin this episode. Location, CIA Headquarters, Virginia. As Jessica was standing in front of the receptionist, Jessica cleared her throat, as that released some of the silence, as she was sitting down in a chair. But the woman was doing her work, as silence reigned over the place again until the telephone and the desk went off. The receptionist took up the phone and she put at her ears. She then looked up at Jessica. "You can go in now, Agent Joe," she said. As Jessica looked at the door, as it was a golden plaque, Deputy Director of the CIA, Benjamin Hunt. Getting up, she flattened out her jacket, her business jacket. "Thank you," she said. As Jessica held on to the nod and opened the door, as it creaked, as she saw other people in the room, the Associate Deputy Director, Ethan Vargas, as he had on a black business suit. Take a seat, Vargas said, as she did, as she took a seat in front of a simple computer desk in front of her. As she looked over to the other man, as he seemed a few decades older than Vargas. He simply stared at her as he waited for his subordinate to begin. He cleared his throat as he got Jessica's attention. As she turned towards him, Agent Jessica Joe, born 19th of October 1983, born to doctors Jonathan and Marriott Drew, graduated from Oxford at age 20. You joined the Royal Navy. Immediately after graduation, you were deployed into the Iraq War. Your mission history there caught the attention of your superior, Alexander Pierce. Graduated at top of your class as a SHIELD trainee. You began to move through SHIELD's Special Task Force, SPAR. After the agency disbanded, over a year ago you were transferred over to Langley, working for the Special Activities Division. Jessica could only watch and listen as Vargas read off her file. Am I being assigned to a new mission, sir? She asked. But he ignored her question. Your work in Budapest was quite remarkable. Your handler, Marcos, was very impressed with your abilities. Thank you, sir, said Jessica. What was it that they called you over at SHIELD again? He asked. Fighting the urge to sigh, she answered. Arachne. She shifted her body. Is there an assignment for me, sir? Yes, a very long-term one. He then looked over to Director Hunt. Hunt folded his hands over his desk. What can you tell me about the alien known as Naruto Uzumaki? Jessica blinked. Well, not much to be honest. You worked with him during your time in SHIELD, did you not? Deputy Director asked. I only worked with him on a single mission. Other than that, I only knew him in passing, said Jessica. Tell me what you can then, Vargas said, but his tone came off as an order. Well, if I can use one word, powerful. On our only mission we had together, my report is that he was a walking weapon and an espionage that would wipe out everything in one tight bundle. He could slip into anywhere, appearing as anyone. He could create copies of himself and obliterate an army by himself. He was a one-walking machine that seems to cannot be stopped. I gathered all of that in the mission. Hunt nodded slowly. Yes, we gathered that ourselves. Is there anything you can tell us about his behavior? Are you asking me if he's dangerous? She asked. We already know that he's dangerous, Vargas said. It would be stupid not to. What are you asking of me then? Jessica said. I think we can all agree that his actions are quite strange. He arrived here several years ago, where he's quickly recruited into SHIELD. He was sponsored by them. Uzumaki helped in the destruction of several researches based off Hydra, where they researched weapons. However, his real objective was to return to his home. But he got mixed up with AIM, and he killed off all of them. The body count he left back that day was massive to say at the least. I am sorry, sir, but how is that any bad behavior? He ended a conflict that would cause many more lives to be ended, said Jessica. It's perplexing because the United States were interested in the Simkarian revolt, said Vargas. Jessica blinked. You wanted the revolution to succeed? Hunt nodded, and Uzumaki turned that plan on its head. Do you think that Uzumaki did it on purpose? Do you honestly think that he would interfere with our interests? She asked. As she saw they shared a look. Why, she said. What would he possibly gain from that? Why would he destroy a camp of African military outside of Wakanda, outside of the borders? Hunt asked. Wakanda is completely isolated from the rest of the world. However, from what we can tell, something rather disaster occurred, and the country decided to involve themselves with Uzumaki to fix it. Whatever was involved, whatever was there, who helped Uzumaki or anything, the rest of it is a complete mystery. Vargas then opened back the file as he pulled out a few photographs. Here he is, in Manhattan, with a private investigator by the name of Jessica Jones. As he placed down the photo, as Jessica picked it up to see Uzumaki walking down Manhattan streets with an attractive woman. As he pulled out the next photo, only 4 hours later, these were taken. 4 hours, and this is halfway across the world. As Jessica saw like a meteor made from lava falling from the sky. Where was this taken? She asked. Ethiopia, Hunt said. The third picture was Naruto with dozens of other Narutos fighting off against the malicious man. A satellite picked up the fight. But we were then hacked by an unknown source, preventing us from seeing anything else. So you assume that he aligned himself with Wakanda? Jessica asks. And how is that a bad thing? Wakanda is the neutral party. Uzumaki is an atomic bomb. Whoever have him under their control holds all the cards. They transcend the world superpowers. As we speak, Director Norris is meeting with the White House to discuss the events of meeting with Uzumaki, who is currently being sponsored by Tony Stark and Captain Steve Rogers. They believe that we need to keep an eye on him until we can convince him that siding with the United States is the best interest right now. And you want me to watch him, don't you? Jessica said. Deputy Director Hunt nodded. From what Stark has told us, Uzumaki has formed his own team, similar to the Avengers. Stark assured us that his intentions are good, but he refused to tell us what exactly. The man is formed a team for, instead of working with the Avengers who is already here. Our intentions is for you to act as our intel in the group, using your abilities to convince him to allow you to join. Sir, you overestimate my ability, she said. Your SHIELD commander claimed that you were one of their top agents. The only thing that kept you out of the Avengers was your own refusal to join, said Hunt. However, unlike Director Fury, I'm not really giving you much of an option. You are to take this assignment, understood? As Jessica kept a straight face even though she was angry inside. Yes, sir, I understand. Good, Hunt said. Meanwhile, T'Challa grunted as he was thrown onto his back. He quickly picked himself up as he tackled Naruto, as he tried to grab Naruto in a chokehold, but that was proved fatal because Naruto easily overpowered him. A cough interrupted their wrestling match as the two looked up to see Okoi looking at them. My prince, Nakia, wishes to speak to you, she said. The prince grunted as he threw Naruto off of him. Tell her I'll be there in a moment, as he wiped away the sweat. Okoi scowled. I am your general, my prince, not your messenger. Naruto chuckled at the annoyed look on T'Challa's face. As Naruto looked over at Okoi. Don't worry, he's just angry because he's losing. I wasn't losing, Uzumaki. I am still convinced that you're breaking our agreement, said T'Challa. Hey, when I agreed to not use my power if you didn't use your fancy metal gadgets, I meant it. And I don't break my promises, Naruto said. Perhaps we should duel with swords then, said T'Challa. So we can find you cut to bits? No, I think this is enough, Okoi said. You don't believe in my abilities, General? The prince asked in a defensive tone. It's not that I don't trust your abilities, rather that I don't trust him, she said, as she looked at Naruto. Her look, it seemed like he was drilling into his skull. Okoi, said T'Challa, Uzumaki is an honored guest here by my father, your king. And if he's to stay here, he's at least made useful. I'm right here, guys, Naruto said, as they were talking like he wasn't even here. But he was ignored. Your father neglects to remember how dangerous he is, Okoi said. And you neglect to remember that he saved my sister, said T'Challa. And you remember what he did to me, Okoi said. He defiled my mind. He looked into memories that didn't belong to him. Hey, Naruto said. Clearly offended. I didn't defile anything. I kept out of your memories. I only look for information on Wakanda. If you're but he was cut off. I don't get offended. Okoi said, getting nose to nose with Naruto. I am the greatest warrior in Wakanda. Black Panther or no, what I am is someone that respects privacy. Both for myself and my country. Clearly you don't respect either of those things. With that, Okoi stomped off in a huff. As T'Challa looked over, I don't think you will find a friend in her, Uzumaki. And what about you, Naruto asked, giving a smile. I'm usually not one for friends, Uzumaki, the prince said, as he patted Naruto on the shoulder. I'll be seeing you then. How about comrade then? Companion, maybe? Naruto asked. I was thinking about something like a jester, T'Challa said as he turned the corner, leaving Naruto. Time skip. Naruto looked down from the palace as he watched the people of Wakanda as they just went around their daily routine, oblivious to what was going on outside the outside world. Not bothering to look behind him, Naruto spoke. You can come out now. Peeking out from the corner, Shuri walked out. As she was walking towards Naruto, clutching the bundle in her hand tightly. She swallowed the saliva in her throat. Do you know who I am? She asked. Of course I do, Naruto said. You're the Princess Shuri, right? Shuri nodded. And you're the man that saved me, she said. That's right, said Naruto. She shifted on her feet for a moment. You're not human, are you? She asked. Naruto blinked. What makes you say that? I saw the footage, Shuri said. What you did when you and my brother came for me. There is no way a human can do that. What am I then? Naruto said, as he was curious and both joking. Shuri hesitated for a moment. An otherworld angel, she said. As Naruto's smile grew bigger. Your father told me you were smart. Shuri blinked. My father talked to you about me? We talked a lot when I've stayed here. And you came up a few times. He's very proud of you, you know that? Shuri, without realizing it, she walked over to the balcony, as she was now standing beside him, as she saw the people going about their day. She gave him a side glance. Why are you still here? She asked. Does my presence here offend you? Your General Okoi doesn't seem to want me here. Not that I can blame her. No, Shuri said. No, it doesn't, she calmed herself. I'm just curious, that's all. I guess you could say I like your home, this city. Why? Because it reminds me of my home, he said. Really? Shuri said. Yeah, it's kinda strange how similar. Wakanda is to Konoha. The people, the culture, it's all bringing a lot back to me. I hate this feeling if I'm being honest. Why is that? Shuri asked. Well, I don't know, it just reminds me of my childhood more than anything else. Was it bad? Shuri asked. Naruto looked down at the young girl. I am not exactly proud of my childhood. I am not proud of my fellow village either. Or how I handle myself. Or handle my situation. Chuckling to himself. I was a bit of an asshole when I was a kid. Not that anyone else was much better, he said. Well, you seem like a good person now, Shuri said. You're like a knight or something. A knight? Naruto said in amusement. Well, Shuri said, you saved me, didn't you? I am a princess. When you save a princess, you become a knight. It's just common sense. So that makes me your knight then, Naruto said, that smile. She turned her head. I never said anything like that, she said. Chuckling to himself, he finally took notice of the bundle in her hands. What do you got there? He asked. She then turned to face him. I'm not like those silly fairytale princesses or whatever. I don't like leaving at death unsettled. So here, she said. This is my thanks to you. As she gave him the object. As Naruto revealed a metallic cylinder that was over a foot long. Huh? What is it? He said. It's a vibranium spear, a modified version used by the Doro Mileage, to be specific. Go on then, whip it out, she said. Deciding to ignore how she phrased that sentence, he took a few steps back as he pulled out the cylinder. As he swinged it. Wow, Naruto said as he sheathed it out. As it was a straight staff. Around 5 feet long, the staff covered 2/5 of a weapon, leaving the rest to the dangerous, sharp, single-edged blade. As Naruto swung it, as he heard the vibranium cut through the air, the whistle behind it. I name her Nakami, Shuri said, smiling, seeing that Naruto liked the gift. You can change it if you want though. No, it's perfect, Naruto said. As he returned it to his base form, as he channeled chakra to the storage seal on his hand. As one of his father's Harashin kunai poofed out. As he flipped it so he was holding the center blade, as he handed it over to Shuri. What is this? She said, looking at the strange little knife. This weapon once belonged to my father, Naruto said, getting a surprised reaction from her. It has a special power that let me travel to it instantly, no matter how far away it is. Wherever it is, no matter if it's planets, hours, anything away. All you have to do is throw it and stab it into something, and I'll know that you're summoning me. As he grabbed her hands, so she was holding it right. As she looked away, you know that you're kind of ruining my repay of my debt, right? No, I don't think so. Back in the day, my father used to hand these out to the people you want to protect. Both as a way to get to them quickly and give them a sense of security. Knowing that he was always watching out for them. So consider this a gesture of our friendship. Thank you, Shuri said. Naruto was about to say something else, but someone coughed into her hand. As they turned to find the queen, Romanda, standing at the doorway, in all of her glory. As she was standing in an elegant black gown, with her neck in a neck piece, as her long white hair was flowing down. She took several steps forward. Shuri, your father wishes to speak with you, she said. Shuri then gave Naruto a nod, as she walked past Naruto, taking her new gift with her. The queen kept her eyes on Naruto the entire time, eyeing him, as her daughter left them alone. Finally, she said, "My daughter has taken quite a liking to you, Uzumaki," she said. "You can call me Naruto if you want." "No, I think Uzumaki will do well. I never get to thank you for what you did for my family. With all the funerals and all," she said, as Naruto immediately knew what she was talking about, as he decided not to go to the funerals, saying that he felt out of place. The only reason why he was still here was that the king invited him, and he knew if he declined it was like insulting the king. Especially it was awkward when members of a Jabari tribe has come to take the body of a man named Mbaba home. Apparently his brother was the leader of a tribe, a man named Mbaku, as Mbaku had a lot to say to T'Challa and the king, his angry yells echoing through the entire palace. "There's no need to thank me," Naruto said. "If there's a need or not, I still do in return. You saved my daughter from a situation I put her in. If it wasn't for you, her fate would have been laid to bear on my shoulders. She turned away. You can accept my thanks or ignore it. All in the same, I'm indebted to you." As Naruto followed behind the queen, "Will I accept your thank," he said, as he heard the flapping of wings, as he turned to see a one-eyed raven, with a green eye glowing. Naruto blinked at the strange animal. "Much like my daughter felt the need to reimburse her death, I do as well. That is why I allow my husband to assist you in the way he can." Realizing that you were heading towards the council chambers, Naruto asked, "Really?" "My husband will explain," she said. Walking through the place, as they finally arrived in the chambers, they were greeted by the king, his children, and a squad of door mileage, led by Okoi. "Naruto, welcome," the king said, ignoring the look that his wife gave him as she walked over to his side. "King T'Chaka, how are you?" Naruto asked. "I have some news for you regarding your request," he said, leaning over in his throne, as Naruto smiled as his request was for Wakanda to be a part of Infinity Watch in any capacity, his group that he was created. "We come to an agreement," the king said. "After my wife talked with the council, it was very inspiring," as he eyed his wife. She ignored her husband. "Get to it, dear," she said. "Of course, dear," he said. "The council and I have come to an agreement considering your request from Wakanda." Naruto nodded along with the king, waiting for the man to get to it. "I am sorry, but I cannot allow Wakanda to invest any kind of military power," he said. "I'm sure you can understand why. As far as my son joining your group goes, it is his decisions." As all eyes turned towards the prince, as he spoke, "I have to decline the offer, despite you have told me about these infinity gems." "Stones," Naruto said. "And as far as your group goes, the few of you there are, I can't pledge myself to something outside of Wakanda," the prince says. "I understand," Naruto said. The king then cut in. "While my eldest refused to join, my youngest has a proposal for you." "Go on, Shuri," he said. "Well," Shuri said, "the idea was that I join Infinity Watch instead of my brother." "Really?" Naruto said, surprised that you want to join him. Yeah," she said. "Well, it wouldn't be full-time," she said. "Oh, so you want to be a part-time watcher then," Naruto said with a smile. "I am offering my service to you and your crew. That includes funding. We can more than afford to bankroll you guys," she said. "So if I make you a quasi-watcher," Naruto said, "you will give me tech and funding." Shuri scoffed a little. "I was thinking I would be your quartermaster," she said. "I would be based in Wakanda, but I would be on call if you need me." T'Challa then spoke. "I think I must inform the both of you that I cannot allow Shuri's activities to interfere with her duties with Wakanda." The queen spoke next. "Shuri is to take over Wakanda, head RD," she said. Naruto walked up to the princess, despite the slow movements the door mileage was looking at him with. "This sounds great," Naruto said. "Awesome, in fact. But I'm the only one getting something out of this. So what's in it for you? I'm honestly down to haggle." "What are you talking about?" she said. "I don't want anything. I just want to be a part of your team." "Why is that magic woman on the team? What does she get out of it?" "Touche," Naruto says. He extended his hands out. "Deal. Welcome to Infinity Watch." As she grabbed his hand and shake it, as she looked around. "If I were to be a bit honest, I thought this moment would be cool like with fireworks or something like that. As Naruto simply chuckled. The next day, New York City. Naruto stumbled over as he appeared in Ileana's apartment because of the kunai that he gave her, as he landed directly on a bottle, as he collected himself, as he picked up the wine bottle on the ground. As Naruto looked around at the empty piece or box and the other forms of garbage. Ileana, he said. Ileana, you home? As he got no response. As he pulled out his phone and called her. After several rings later, she answered, What? As her voice was muffled a bit. Hey, I was just wondering where you were. I'm back from Wakanda. He was quiet for a couple of seconds, and then spoke. I'm down by the pool, she said. Naruto blinked. You have a pool? Not in so many words, she said. As Naruto sighed, I'm coming down, he said. As Naruto headed down to the apartment's lobby, as he spotted an employee by the exit. Hey, can you tell me the pool is? Naruto asked. Sir, we don't have a pool here, the employee said. Are you sure? Naruto asked, looking around. I'm sure, sir. Oh, so where's the nearest one then? Naruto asked. There's a hotel 2 blocks away. It has a pool, I think. But it's only for people who have a room, I think, the man said. Right, thanks. As Naruto arrived at the hotel, as he saw many people gathered at the fountain. As Naruto arrived, Naruto gasped when he saw Ileana lying in the fountain water. He quickly cut through the crowd. Ileana, what are you doing? He said. She shrugged in the water. She brought a bottle of vodka to her lips. As she gulped it down. I told you, I'm at the pool. As she was wearing a 2-piece bikini, a black one. This isn't a pool, Naruto said. As Naruto stepped inside, the water was rather cold. Come on, let's get you inside, he said. I'm not done yet, she said. I know, Naruto said as he took off his jacket and wrapped around her shoulders. But this isn't a pool. People are looking at you. As he looked at the crowd of people, some of the younger ones pulling out their phone to record them. Ileana blinked. This isn't a pool? No, Naruto said. Oh shit. She then started to laugh. That's hilarious. Naruto couldn't help but chuckle as well as he lifted up to her feet. Leave the bottle, he said. You had enough. She sighed. It's nearly empty anyway. As Naruto took her away. As they arrived back at the apartment, as Naruto placed her on her couch. You have a small trash can or something, he asked. In the bathroom, down the hall, she said. Lay on your side like this, Naruto said. As he placed her on her side. As he went to get the trash can, when he came back she was on her feet. What are you doing, Naruto said. I was gonna get us something to drink. I swear I had something over here. I think you drank it all, Naruto said. As he grabbed her and placed her back on the couch gently. Why did you need my trash can? She asked. Because you're probably gonna need it after a while, he said. As Naruto sit there and gently rubbed her shoulders. Why are you doing this? He asked. As Naruto gently moved back as he created a clone. Go over to Jessica's apartment and tell the clone over there to pop. I am sure she'd want to talk to me even though I will know what happened anyway. Stick around and answer any questions she has, he said. The clone nodded, the annoyed look on his face. You know you don't have to tell me that, right? I'm your clone. I know what you want me to do as soon as you make me, idiot. Just go before I pop you, Naruto said. You act like I'm poof. Naruto popped the clone as he created another. I know what you're about to say. And how about we skip it and just go do what I'm created for, the clone said. Am I that much of an asshole, Naruto wondered. When the clone arrived, Jesus Christ, the clone shouted as he dodged a coffee cup that nearly slammed into his face. Hey, what's the big deal, he said. Jessica huffed as she ignored the other Naruto clone that was in the room as well. You don't just appear in someone's home like that. 1 second you're not there, and then the next second you are. It's creepy as hell. Sorry, he apologized. As he glared at his other brother clone. What are you smirking at? It's just fun to see her yelling at someone else for a change, the clone said. You guys are the same person, idiots, Jessica said. Still, the clone said that shrug. The newer clone then sighed. The boss said that you must pop. He had to send you to tell me that, the old clone asked. Well, you know that Jessica wanted to talk to me afterwards, the new clone said. Why didn't he just come himself, Jessica asked. The clone shrugged. He got his hands full. Of course he does, she said. The older clone then gave a smile. Jessica, well, it was a... But he couldn't get to finish that sentence as she punched him straight in the face as he poofed away. Wow, he said. That's a reinforced clone. It's pretty impressive that you burst him with one punch. Jessica shook her hand with a red mark on her knuckles. It felt like I was punching a wall. The clone then staggered a bit as he got a massive load of memories. Wow, he said. What was that, she asked. Too many memories at once. I don't usually let clones last that long, he said. So you know what we found out then, about that client, she asked. Yeah, it's there, but I think it would be better if you just told me about it. It will just make the memory settle quicker. Fine, she said. She walked over to her desk as she pulled out a file from one of the drawers. As she flipped it open, the client name you might remember is Gloria Cartwright. Husband name Jason. He went missing a few days ago. Mr. Cartwright worked as a global investment consultant. The last time she saw him was when he left for work the morning he disappeared. According to her, he's never without his phone because he's on call 24/7. So when he didn't come home later in the night, she called to see what was keeping him, but she got no answer. That being a red flag for her, she called several more times, but no answer. She later called the police to look into it, but she didn't have a legitimate reason for filing a missing person, so there was nothing they could do. Sounds reasonable, the clone said. That is why I didn't want to take the job, Jessica said. Guilt-free. Most of the time the spouse is off, screwing some other people or something. So what did she say when you went to go and talk to her? Naruto and I, she then stopped herself. I'm going to call the clone I was with, Naruto. For just screw it, she said. God, this is a crazy conversation. Yeah, so Naruto and I showed up at their house, and she remembered that she installed a GPS tracker in her husband's car. Without her husband knowing, of course. Why? Back when she did, she thought that he was cheating on her, so she put that tracker in his car to see where he go on business. Turns out she was just being paranoid. Anyways, we used a tracker to see that his car was parked in a McDonald's parking lot in Manhattan, and has been there for 3 days now. So Naruto and I went to take a look as the driver window door was smashed. Blood and glass was on the ground and tire marks. And the tire marks exit the parking lot. It looked like whoever took him was in a rush. Well shit, Naruto said. Yeah, Jessica said as she pulled out her flask from her pocket as she took a quick sip. We then called the police after that. We then tracked down where Mr. Cartwright was earlier that day. While the police and I were focused on what was going on in the parking lot, Naruto and I decided to go through his GPS history. The first place was a bar, the bar we went to in fact. Spooky, said the clone. Coincidence is more like it, said Jessica. He was there for about 20 minutes before he drove off to a warehouse in Queens, where the car was parked for about 20 minutes. After that, he drove to a diner where he ate for about half an hour, before going to Harlem. He was there for 5 hours. Do you know why he was at that warehouse and neighborhood for so long, the copy asked. I was getting to that. The warehouse is owned by Global Investments, so it's pretty easy to assume that was his business call. So there wasn't anything real that fishy about that. But the neighborhood on the other hand, that was the fishy thing. The memory came to the clone. A family was brutally murdered that night. The same night the GPS said that he was there, the clone said. Exactly, said Jessica. And that isn't a coincidence. As the clone nodded, so in theory, Mr. Cartwright is a murderer, he said. My original thought is that he was a serial killer, using his job as an excuse to go out and kill people. But after some digging, we found out that the family he killed, the husband, was heavily connected to the New York drug ring. And he was hired to kill that family, Naruto said, as he was recovering the memories. And that his disappearance was related to that hit. A hitman getting justice, Jessica said, as Naruto nodded. That isn't until you got the call from Gloria telling you that Mr. Cartwright was found. He was killed in some strange cult ritual. Jessica flipped through the pictures. We went to the police. They told us that his case was similar to several cases that has been flipping around for the past 2 years. Him being the 12th victim in that time frame. The clone frowned as he got the pictures. They were autopsy pictures, as all of them were burned and they couldn't be recognized. Each of the men found was similar in the same way. Young, male, with blonde hair and blue eyes. And they had 3 cuts on each cheek. A part of this strange ritual. The person mutilated the body. Jessica then spoke when the media dubbed these guys cult last year off the maelstrom. They called themselves Heavenly Fire. Other than that, they haven't given an official statement. Why would they do something like this, the clone said. It's hard to tell with these kinds of things. It's impossible to tell if they're doing it in spite or they're trying to praise you or something like that. Either way, they're fascinated by you. But why though? What have I done to deserve this? I don't even know what to call it. You know that you're more than a regular person here, right? If you just walked outside and stand around, you will be swarmed by a multiple of people wanting to know what exactly you are. They don't know whether to call you a man, a messiah, or a flat-out god. The news was filled with speculations. And you wanna know why, she said. Because you do all this crazy crap like fly, walk on water, turn yourself into a bean of fire, and all kind of things that should be make-believe crap. You did all of this and leave it at that. You don't say who you are or what you're doing here. You just show up, do something insane, and then vanish. So of course people are going to make assumptions of what you are and what you represent. And out of all those theories, one of them are going to be goddamn insane. What do I do then, Naruto said. Just do what I do, she said, as she pulled out her flask, deal with it when it pops up, and then continue your strive. That's not exactly my style, the clone said. You're lost then, she said. Tell the original if you want to drop by, don't do that thing you do. It's rude. She didn't give the clone time to respond, as she threw a punch straight in his stomach as he exploded. Meanwhile, the real Naruto blinked as he got the memories. Heavenly Inferno. Damn it, damn it, damn it, he thought to himself. He was then cut off with Ileana stirring beside him. In the short time she was asleep, he decided to heal away the toxic in her system. Enough to keep her from getting sick, but she would still feel a bit hangover when she wakes up. Ileana then got up a bit as she winked as he got a headache. Damn it, she said, as she then spotted Naruto. Naruto, she said. What time is it, she asked. Nearly 4 in the afternoon, he said. Can I get a glass of water and a painkiller, she asked. Sure, he said. As Naruto went to the kitchen, Ileana got up. What happened exactly? I think I blacked out. Naruto's voice echoed from the kitchen with the faucet on with the water pouring into the cup. Oh yeah, you blacked out. When I found you, you had pretty much aimed a bottle of vodka by yourself. Found me? She said. You were out in front of a building, swimming, he said, as he came back with a painkiller and a glass of water. There isn't a swimming pool in front of my building, she said. Yep, said Naruto. As realization crept in, she looked down, as she looked like she was wearing a bathing suit. As she gripped his jacket and wrapped it more around her. Oh my god, she said. Yep, Naruto says. He handed her the glass. I can't believe. Were there people there, she said, bringing the glass up to her lips. No, Naruto said, deciding to show her some pity. She sighed in relief. Oh, thank god, she said. As she reached for the pills, Naruto pulled them back so she was out of their reach. No, I think I'm gonna hold on to these for a sec. Come on, Naruto, please, she said. Why were you drinking yourself to death, he asked, in a serious tone. She then blinked as she turned her head in shame. I don't know. You know I have the ability to know when someone's lying, right? But I don't need to turn down when you're lying that badly. You're officially the second worst liar I know. Who's the first? He recognized the attempt to change the conversation, but he answered anyway. A woman named Gamora. So, are you going to answer me? I think you know why, she said. I want you to tell me, Naruto said. It was my first time killing someone, she said. Naruto kept quiet, knowing that the issue was boiling up to the breaking point. I know that I did the right thing. He nearly killed you. I keep replaying the thing over and over in my head, and I cannot find a different route. Where he didn't have to die and you would be safe. I thought I couldn't live with taking away someone's future, taking away their life. But the thing is, it doesn't bother me. And that is what scares me, Ileana said. Why? Why does it bother me, Naruto, she asked, tears running down her cheeks. Naruto scooted up next to her. When I was 14, I was on a trip with my master. He had taken me out of the village so I can learn how to control the power inside of me and not hurt anyone while doing it. In order to make money and test my growing skills while we were away, the leader of the village would send me missions once a month. On one mission, we were sent to stop a group of ninjas who got close to our borders. When we got there, the ninjas who we were supposed to stop got attacked by a missing nin that was passing by. But one of them was still alive, and he was barely clinging to life. He was in so much pain. My master ordered me to kill him out of mercy. It was hard, but in the end I forced myself to do it. At first I couldn't understand why he would make me do such a thing. But he told me it was a way for him to show me how to be merciful and ruthless, and that I needed both of them to become Hokage. That was my first real kill, when I did it with my bare hands and watched a life leave their eyes. Was it hard? Ileana asked. Not as much as I thought it would, Naruto said. You always thought it will be, that it will always stick with you forever. But it doesn't, and you move on because you have to. That is how we stay sane. I think that it's when someone dies that you love, they stick with you, he said in a rather sad tone. Those never go away, ever. Then, why do I feel this way, she asks. Because you're a good person. You hold life in high regard. Murder disgusts you, but you'll move past it because you're strong. I am not as strong as you think I am, she said. Then I'll help you, Naruto said. If you can't carry the leftover burden, I will take it, with a smile on my face. What are friends for, he said as he opened the bottle and gave her a few pain pills. Thank you, she said. No problem, he said, as he gave her a warm smile. But guys, let me end this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this or know what to do, like, subscribe, comment down below and turn that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends on your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the new series, What If Naruto Was Banished and Got a Supernatural Power, and enjoy that, guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you're hearing my voice and you enjoy the videos on both Animaking and Animaking 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Animaking family. And thank you for all for your help and your support. And also go ahead and check out the new episode, What If Naruto was from the two greatest clans. And I also post a new episode of What If Naruto was a smart prodigy over on Animaking 2. So go ahead and enjoy it as well, guys. And yeah, see you guys for now. I'm gonna be seeing you guys tomorrow. Peace.